Grades are enabled on assignments. The students will submit the assignments directly in Schoology, and you can grade them directly in Schoology as well. So here's an example of a regular Schoology assignment that a student has done a submission. I'll see an entire list of my students, and I'll click on their name to see their submission. And what we're in now is called the document viewer. Now, I can do several things when I'm grading in this document. First of all, I can annotate text by selecting and highlighting the text. If I've highlighted a text, I can mark it like that. I can also do things like add a note to a certain section. And so that I can annotate this document as I'm going. I can also change the color of my notes. If I want to edit my note, I can also edit it as well. I can delete any notes that I make by just clicking on the menu. You can also leave comments for the students, and your comments can be just typed, or you can add audio or a video recording to give that kind of a feedback to your student as well. You can also attach files if you want them to have more information. You can also see the revision notes that you've made, and then any notes that the students have done as well. And you can draw and write right on the student's assignment as well. And once you've done that, you can change the color of it, or you can change the text if you need to, so that you can circle things in the document and mark it up that way as well. To grade the document, what you'll do is click up here where it says grading, and this is out of 3 points, so I can choose what grade I want to give. I can also add a comment to the student. Now, if I want that comment to show, I would need to click on this button to show it, and I'll hit submit. The student will click in the grade book for your course to see the grade, and that's where this comment will also be listed next to the grade in the student grade book. The comments and the annotations that you've made in the document are only going to be visible to the student if they open up the document and come in and take a look at it. So in the student view, I can go into an assignment, and I can click on it, and I'll be able to see these comments that the teacher has left, and I'll be able to see eventually the notes and revisions that were made in the document as well. Now, if I'm a student and I come back out of this assignment and I click on grades in my course, this is where I see the grade to the course. I got a 2 out of 3, and here is the comment that the teacher left. Now let's take a look. If I was assigned, let's say that I had assigned a rubric to this assignment, so I want to grade it with a rubric. First of all, the rubric is visible to the student in the assignment, and when I go to grade the assignment now, I still have the option of leaving comments, and I do still have the same options to annotate and mark up the document as I wish. But when it comes time to grading, I actually will grade it with the rubric. So I'll say they got a 3 on that one and a 4 on that one. And then what I'll do is just hit save. And if I want to, what I can also do is I can add you can hit the comment button, and I can also add a comment here to the student that will show up in the grade book, just like I did previously. Grading with rubrics is really easy because it's just nice to be able to click directly on the categories. Now let's take a look at a Google assignment that was submitted. So if you created a Google assignment, you would click here to see submissions. The in progress, again, will show you live progress. You can see and make comments on the students' work as they're working. But once they've submitted it, students will not be able to edit the document unless you unsubmit it back to them to make changes. You still can use the comment tool here and add comments in the document, just like you would in Google Docs. When it comes time to grade, I'm going to click up here and I can add the grade for the assignment and any notes. And if I want to show that note to a student, again, just like the other assignments, this will show up in the Schoology gradebook. And let's take a look at a Google assignment that I actually attached a rubric to. So from this, the students will actually see the rubric, so they'll know how they're being graded. When I go to submissions, it's just very similar. Again, you can make comments here, but when it's time to grade, the rubric is going to come up and I can click on the rubric to give, for each section, to give the points that I want. I can add a gradebook comment right here if I want to, and I can go ahead and hit save. In quizzes and Schoology assessments, the way that, most of the questions will be graded automatically. In a social studies test quiz, for example, that was created, what you'll see when you click on it is the list of questions that you had added, the settings, but when you come to results, this is where you'll be able to see the scores that the students received. And you can view either by student or you can view by question. If you view by question, when you click on the responses, you'll be able to see all of the responses of all the students in a list. Questions like multiple choice, true, false, those types of questions will be graded automatically. It's short answer, essay questions that when you come to this screen, it will actually say needs grading and you'll have to go in and manually grade those particular questions. Now with a Schoology assessment, it's very similar. When you click on the assessment, there's a grading tab. Now if the assessment is still in progress, you'll also see a live progress tab pop up and you'll be able to see how the students are doing as they're taking the assessment. But in the grading section, again, any question that is able to be automatically graded will be graded. If it still needs grading, it'll indicate that and you'll be able to click on it and go ahead and grade it. You also can view the questions by student or you can view by question. So you can grade either way. If you have multiple sections for the same course, you can switch between the sections or you can grade all of the sections at once. Another place, there is a reporting section. Once everything is graded, it will give you the information like the average score on the test, what the median is, what was the high score, the low score, and it will summarize and give you a list of all of the students' final scores. You can have the option to sort these different ways as well. There is also the option, if I go into, let's say, my grade book, all the grades are automatically captured. When you grade something, whether it's an assignment or it's a test quiz or an assessment, or even if you're grading a discussion question, anything that's graded will end up being created as an item in your grade book. You can also click and grade assignments directly from the grade book. Basically, it's just going to link you back to the assignment and open it up. But you can go ahead and do that if you wanted to add a note or if you just had like maybe one or two students' assignments that you needed to grade. There is some considerations about setting up time limits in resumable tests, for instance, and I know I mentioned this in a different section, but I just want to point out that if you are going to be setting up a question that, a student might begin in class and finish like in a testing center or finish at a later time, then you will want to check the resources and you'll want to convert your tests or quizzes into assessments because assessments, that's the only way that the timing will work. The test quiz timer, when you leave the screen, the timer keeps running, so it doesn't really work for assessments that need to be continued. But there is a lot of information down in the resources section with directions. And there's also information about how to create grading banks and question banks as well. Anything that you create, you can either save to resources, or you have the option of saving the questions into a question bank. So now it's time to just use the discussion and share ways that you've used submissions and grading in Schoology for both assignments, discussions, tests and quizzes, or assessments.